Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comic books and I let you know what I thought about them. And we always start with a pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week, Assorted Crisis Events, issue number 6. Y'all, Assorted Crisis Events, after a brief hiatus, is back, and I am more than excited for it. And it, once again, is the pick of the week. If you're not familiar, Assorted Crisis Events, which is written by Dennis Camp with artwork by Eric Zawadzki, colors by Jordi Belair, lettering by Hassan Otsman El How. This is a book in which superhero comic book crisis event type things actually exist in our normal, mundane world. So how does a normal, mundane world deal with these things, right? So it's all taking place within the same world, the same continuity or whatever. However, each issue is self-contained and uses something that is unique to a superhero crisis event and parallels it with something that is truly uniquely tragic and beautifully so at times about the human experience. This book blows me away. In this issue, it is about a man who keeps jumping in time. Not through time, but his body is like jumping through time. So he's a middle-aged man. All of a sudden, he's an old man. Then he's a kid crying, right? And the story is from the perspective of his wife, his partner, and she's having to deal with this. So this is kind of like a parallel to seeing the breakdown of a relationship or seeing someone that you're with change, especially through something like disease or old age, something like that. And by the end of it, what is truly sad actually has this really poignant and resonant message or feeling or vibe about it. I absolutely loved it. Zawadzki's artwork is always incredible. Part of this story is involving games. So the games that they play, whether he's an old man, middle-aged man, or a kid, or anywhere in between, eventually work themselves into being part of the actual layouts of the books. And so it's innovative, it's pushing things forward, it's trying to be clever, it's trying to say something true, real, and grounded, and it's just an absolutely fantastic comic book because of that. It makes the pick of the week, Assorted Crisis Events, issue number 6. And I got to show off this variant cover here. It's the Assorted Crisis Events Youngblood cover. We get a series of Youngblood covers this week to celebrate the return of Rob Liefeld's Youngblood with a new Youngblood issue number 1 published by Image Comics. So a bunch of comics books are doing these Youngblood covers. This one I thought was really cool because it's the old man that we see as kind of like an anchor piece throughout Assorted Crisis Events. He is what the Youngblood team is looking at on the cover of issue number 1. I thought that was super cool. I thought that was neat. Then we've got Ice Cream Man, and this is interesting because it's a comic book that's told through a deck of cards. Okay, so this is $10. This will never be reprinted, apparently. It will never be a part of a collected edition. So if you love Ice Cream Man and you want this singular and uniquely awesome experience, I would highly recommend that you track this down. $10. Most shops should have it. You should be able to find it online. But this was awesome. Now, if you feel like you can skip this because you're not, you can. You can, 100%. Like Ice Cream Man, all issues are self-contained, just like Assorted Crisis Events, part of a larger world, but all self-contained and talking about human experience. Of course, Ice Cream Man can go a little bit more dark, I would say, in its tone at times, and this book for certain. So this is the Mortal Coil Shuffle. The deck is stacked. This is really interesting. Is it a comic book? We can have that argument, but it calls itself a comic book. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you what it is. You open it up, and it's 55 cards, and a lot of them are made to look like magic cards. And then there's a lot of clever things in here where the story itself leads to a prop needing to be used, and the prop is a card within here. So they're numbered. You got to read them in the order 1 through 55. They are all numbered, so if you do get them out of order, you can still check it out. It's really clever, and it's rather interesting. It is supremely dark, and one of the darkest Ice Cream Man tales I've read in a while. I mean, they all keep seemingly getting darker and darker, but it's written by W. Maxwell Prince. It's got artwork by Martine Morazzo. It's got Chris O'Halloran on the coloring, and the lettering done by Good Old Neon. So it's the exact same creative team as Ice Cream Man, just the story being told in a deck of cards. Oh, there's some really clever usage of the Uno reverse card in here. I'm just going to say that. So I really liked it. I thought it was really cool, and in fact, it was almost a pick of the week. There's some really solid books out this week, y'all. So, the Ice Cream Man card comic book is out. Then we've got G.I. Joe with issue number 13, written by Josh Williamson. We got the return of Tom Riley on the artwork and really great coloring from Jordi Belair. This is the start of the Dreadnought War. It is a jumping on point, so if you've been wanting to jump on into G.I. Joe, part of the Energon universe, it gives you a nice little recap in here to kind of tell you the story so far, or if maybe over the last year you just kind of forgotten what's been going on. But man, this was a great first chapter of the Dreadnought War. So what this issue basically is Destro makes his move and kind of puts Cobra's commander in a dangerous situation with the Dreadnoughts, and Duke gets himself involved, and it was just fun. It was fun, and it had a great pace to it. The artwork was great. I've been supremely enjoying the G.I. Joe books from Josh Williamson, and this is no exception. I think this is the most solid issue since, like, the first 6, though I did like the last 6 as well. So far, G.I. Joe's been rocking. And we've got a variant cover here from my boy Mark Spears, and man, that is one of the cleanest Spears covers I've seen in a while. That Cobra Commander looks gorgeous. I'm giving it the cover of the week. So there you go. All right, then we've got Void Rivals here with issue number 24, another book set in the Energon universe. This one not relying so much on characters like G.I. Joe or Transformers, though characters from G.I. Joe and Transformers do appear in here. It is mostly a concept created by Robert Kirkman that is supremely tied in to the Energon universe. Now, a lot of big revelations have come out over the last 12 issues, I should say, in this story. The characters have taken different paths, right? And we are hitting a natural end point here. So this idea that these two alien races occupying this ring-type planet are against unity, but it's because they think they're trying to prevent something, then they go for unity. Turns out that's a bad idea. A lot of things kind of up in the air, but the story kind of comes to a resolution here, at the same time setting up what's to come. Do not misunderstand me. This is not the end of Void Rivals, because the next issue, I believe, is next month, but it definitely has gotten to a point where we have now a big shift into the next phase of what Void Rivals is going to be. Pretty solid issue. It's waning a little bit in my interest just because the other ones feel so exciting, and this one in the last few months hasn't felt as exciting, but maybe it's time to sit back, reread 1 through 24, whenever we can find the time to do it. Then we've got Rook Exodus issue number 8, the second part of the second arc. This book just came back last month. I'm very excited for it. It's written by Jeff Johns with artwork by Jason Fabok. The artwork is absolutely stellar and amazing. The story in Rook Exodus is we have colonized other planets trying to save humanity from the dangers of an Earth that no longer supports human life. And on this world in particular, this world is starting to die because the engine that's running it is kind of going out, right? So all of the rich have already left. Some people are still stuck there. They're trying to save the world, or they're trying to escape. They have these beings using technology. They are called wardens, and they are able to mentally connect with a group of animals and control them. And at times that control kind of goes both ways. And now the wardens become more animal-like. The animals might be becoming more human-like in a way with the way they act. So Rook, our main character, is connected to a murder of crows, right? Then we got another character named Direwolf who is connected to direwolves, right? Well, she's got a father who's connected to wild dogs. They're trying to find him to see if they can utilize his help, though maybe he's not all there and willing to help them. And in the meanwhile, they meet other people like that are connected to other animals. I love this idea. I love the design. I love the artwork. I'm enjoying the story. If you've been enjoying Rook Exodus, it's the same thing. It's awesome. It's just awesome. You're getting a very consistent book there, for certain. Then we've got The Scorched here with issue number 46, written by Todd McFarlane with artwork by Raymond Gay. Artwork is all right. Like, it's pretty. The line work is good. It has some moments, though, where it does come across as stiff, and then it's got moments where it doesn't. It actually works, and it looks really cool. So recently, the world has found out in the Spawn books that Spawn and all these other superpowered entities exist. Right? So the U.S. government puts out a call saying, any of you who want to help work with us, well, you can come work with us and you won't be our enemy, basically. So Jessica Priest decides, let me check this out. Of course, it's not going to be quite what it seems. This was an all right issue of Scorched. It was just kind of decent. Spawn books kind of go up and down a little bit. This was more of a down issue, but I wasn't bored reading it or anything, and I'm still plugged in to what's going on in the world of some of the major Spawn books, including Spawn, King Spawn, and definitely Scorched. Scorched was really good. John Layman's now left the book. I hope he comes back. All right, let's jump over to Marvel. We got Planet She-Hulk issue number 1. This is written by Stephanie Phillips, and artwork, amazing artwork by Aaron Cuter. Sonia Obak on the coloring. The coloring is what really, to me, it like elevates the artwork. Now, I am a fan of Aaron's work, but the coloring here is insane and it's awesome. So this is a book that's following up the recent events in Imperial, and in Imperial, some stuff went on the planet Sakaar where Planet Hulk took place, right? So Hulk has to leave. He leaves She-Hulk behind and says, there's 5 days of peace. I need you here to keep the peace. I'll be back. I'll take you away from here. More than 5 days have passed, kind of like in The Lighthouse. All of a sudden, nobody shows up. Jennifer, aka She-Hulk, is now stuck on Sakaar. So thus, Planet She-Hulk. The book was fine. It had a nice pace to it. The writing was good. The dialogue was solid. The artwork, like I said before, was fantastic, especially the coloring with the way that it works with the line work. I was rather impressed with this book. Thought it was pretty solid. All right, then we've got Alien vs. Captain America, issue number 1, a new miniseries written by Frank Thierry with artwork by Stefano Raffaelli. This was actually pretty fun. I mean, what are you expecting? You're expecting Alien versus Captain America. You don't quite get that here. It's mostly all setup, but it's really freaking cool setup. Baron von Strucker, I just showed you those pages. Baron von Strucker is out there looking for the lost city of Atalan. Turns out the xenomorphs have been there before they get there, but now they think they can use the xenomorphs as a weapon for Hydra, and then that eventually gets us to the ending of the book. Slight spoilers there, I guess, but like, you don't get any Cap versus Alien action yet. It's all set up for it, but the setup was good. It's a by-the-numbers, like, first half of a first act of an Alien story, you know, like a Fox or, I guess, Disney 20th, whatever, you know, Xenomorph aliens, Ridley Scott aliens, James Cameron aliens, right? So it's kind of like, it's exactly like by-the-numbers, what you would expect, but with characters from the Marvel Universe and setting up Captain America versus the Xenomorph. I liked it. I thought it was solid. I thought it was really good. Then we've got X-Men Age of Revelation. I've made the promise that I'm going to read every single one of these. Do I regret that promise? Yes. But not for everything, including Amazing X-Men. So Amazing X-Men is the book you want to read if you want to follow the thrust of the narrative of Age of Revelation. This one's written by Jed MacKay. It's basically replacing the non-adjective X-Men, or the adjective-less X-Men, you could say. And it's the book that's dealing with the main part of the story where 10 years in the future, Revelation, who is Doug Ramsey as the heir of Apocalypse, has taken over. He's unleashed a virus to turn humans into mutants or kill the humans. He has most of the country under his control. There are pockets of resistance, all this kind of stuff, right? So the X-Men of this time somehow take Cyclops, his consciousness, from the present day, and Beast, and move their consciousness into their bodies 10 years from now for some kind of plan. The plan has a twist, which gets revealed here, that I actually really liked, and honestly felt stupid I didn't see coming. But we're mostly seeing them have to deal with the help of magic, but it's no longer magic. The Dark Child has taken over. So I thought this was a solid book, decent enough artwork, a decent enough story. This is the most plugged in out of all of the Age of Revelation stuff. You could literally just read everything written by Jed MacKay, and you would probably be fine. Seriously. But Amazing X-Men was pretty solid. Then we have Laura Kinney, Sabretooth, issue number 2. In this world, Laura has a son, right, named Alex, and her siblings, aka Dakin and Gabby, they're trying to get Alex away from Revelation's mutant territory and out into non-mutant territory, non-Revelation territory. And Laura, who is now donned in the guise of Sabretooth, wants that to happen, but at the same time, she's working for Revelation and being controlled by him. So there's this weird, like, back and forth going on. The book is okay. It's a brisk read. It's not necessarily boring. Artwork is okay. Story is okay. There is one moment in here that is slightly important to what I'm assuming it's going to be slightly important to how the story develops towards its end game. However, I wouldn't say you need to read this book just to get that bit of information, because I'm pretty sure you're going to get that bit of information by the end of this story. So, Laura Kinney, Sabretooth, it's aight. Then we got Binary Part 2, part of the Age of Revelation. In this world, Jean Grey sacrifices herself to protect the rest of the cosmos from the X-Virus by closing it off and just keeping it on Earth. In doing so, she sacrifices herself, but she gives the Phoenix Force to Carol Danvers. So now Captain Marvel is the Phoenix, and she has shielded an entire town from the X-Virus. The town's starting to turn against her. She's dealing with that. Somebody's behind it. That's what this story is. I liked the first issue, not so much the second issue. It comes across a little saccharine, a little just too cheesy at times, especially with this bond between Jean and Carol. And I get it. We don't know necessarily what happened within the period from now till when Jean passed on the Phoenix Force to Carol. But apparently they became like besties. That's just weird. And it's just odd. And the book itself, it's got decent artwork. It's got a decent enough pace to it. But I just don't vibe with the story or the way those characters are interacting. Then we've got Long Shots, issue number 2 from the Age of Revelation. Long Shots has definitely, to me, been the worst of all of them, which is crazy to me, because this is the one that's co-written by Jonathan Hickman. But this book is set in the Mojo world and all that kind of stuff. This book is meant to be the humor title, right? No tie-in, whatever, to the main event. Just in this world, Mojo's trying to like start a show with random characters. Wonder Man's there, Bishop's there, Hellcat's there, the X-Babies are there. Longshot is trying to get on the show with Spiral, trying to make a deal with Mojo. It's so stupid. So stupid. The thing is, this is the humor title, but to me, it's not funny. It's just stupid. So I don't like it. Then we've got Amazing Spider-Man issue number 15, continuing the story where Spider-Man's got this new suit. He's out in space. Meanwhile, on Earth, somebody's pretending to be Spider-Man. Another person's pretending to be Peter. Meanwhile, the real Peter is in space, running around with Rocket Raccoon and another ragtag, makeshift wannabe Guardians of the Galaxy doing their thing, having their adventures. And I'm just kind of bored with this story. I mean, the story's fine. The writing's fine. Joe Kelly's doing a decent enough job, but I'm ready to get Peter back on Earth and deal with what's going on there. I don't like these two stories going on in separate issues around the same time. I mean, the art's fine. It's not Pepe Larraz. It's Emilio Lacio, but the art's fine. It's got dynamic qualities to it. It flows really nice. It's just, I'm just kind of tired of this story. But there is an interesting development in this issue with Peter's new suit. You think he would have already learned, but whatever. Then we got Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu, issue number 14. Continuing the story that's been going on with the Wrecker. The Wrecker is haunted by the ghosts of all the people that whose lives he's destroyed, right? So he goes to Moon Knight for help. Moon Knight, of course, feels like he has to help him. There is a villain who is behind this, who has a connection to Wrecker. He fully reveals himself here in the pages of issue number 14. It's solid. It's a good story. I like how it ends and the setup for the next issue. The art here is Domenico Carboni, and the art is okay. It gets the job done, but I'd rather have Dev back on the book. I think he'll be back soon. I don't know. I should pay more attention to things like that. Like, is he on another book now or is he coming back? I don't know. Somebody let me know. Y'all pay attention better than I do most times, so thank you. Let me know. But Moon Knight's all right. Art was just a little bit weak this time. Then we got Ultimate X-Men issue number 21. After this, 3 more issues of Ultimate X-Men because the Ultimate titles are coming to an end. So Marvel says, we'll see what actually happens post. My prediction, they're going to try to do their own Ultimate Marvel thing within the 616, and I don't think it's going to work. But maybe it will. Maybe they'll get some really great teams to do some interesting things. Maybe. Anyway, Ultimate X-Men issue number 21. It's Peach Momoko. Let's just applaud Peach Momoko for being the only artist on every single Ultimate book that they are on. Every single one, plus tons of covers. She is the workhorse of the artists on the Ultimate books, for certain. Also writing the story. It's interesting. It's set in Japan, but the Japan of the Ultimate Marvel Universe. Things are a little bit different. Sunfire is ruling. He has his own team of X-Men that he now sends after this new team of X-Men. So the story's really coming to a head towards its endgame. I need to stop saying that because they used it in Avengers Endgame. They're also using it for this Ultimate stuff, Ultimate Endgame. For the finale, they're setting up the finale. It's a solid enough issue. If you like what's been going on with Ultimate X-Men, no reason why you're not going to continue to like it. Let's jump over to DC. And from DC, we have DC KO Knightfight, issue number 1. This is spinning out of DC KO, and slight spoilers for DC KO issue number 1. I have to set this up in order to explain what this book is. So if you don't want to know those spoilers, skip ahead. Anyway, in DC KO, there is a tournament of different heroes and villains of the DC Universe, the winner of which will become King Omega. That's what the KO stands for, and they will be the antithesis to fight Darkseid and finally defeat him and end all the shenanigans he's been doing. But there's more to that story than that. Anyway, Batman was supposed to be part of this tournament, and then right before he jumped into the tournament grounds, we should say, he gets stabbed in the back by a villain and dies and gets whisked away. What happens, though, to Batman after that? That's what this is. He winds up in another world in which Dick Grayson is now Batman, and he has to fight him. And part of the premise of this whole series is that he will have to fight each Robin as Batman in a different world of Gotham. It was a pretty solid book. Is it 100% essential to your understanding of DC KO? No, but if you want to know what happened to Batman, check it out. Plus, it's written by Josh Williamson with artwork by Dan Mora. And the artwork is absolutely stellar and amazing. This new world that's envisioned for Gotham looks freaking cool. Nightwing looks cool as Batman in this world. The colors are freaking crazy. Who is the colorist of this book? Triona Farrell. Best colored comic out there probably this week. I enjoyed it, had a lot of fun. Not essential to your understanding of the main story of DC KO, but definitely if you want to know what's going on with Batman during all of that, check it out. Dan Mora artwork, it's insane. Then we got Harley and Ivy, Life and Crimes, issue number 1. This is written and illustrated by Erica Henderson, and what this is the new in continuity retelling of how Harley and Ivy fell in love. And I thought it was awesome. I really liked it. I thought it was charming. I thought the characters were well written. I thought their dynamic and their relationship was perfectly displayed. And I thought the art was clever, clean, concise, and did a hell of a job telling the story. I really liked this book, and I was not expecting much out of it at all. And it kind of really surprised me. Then we've got Batman here with issue number 3. Matt Fraction, Jorge Jimenez. Pretty solid issue of Batman. So basically what's going on here is a lot of like dealing with ramifications and dangling plot threads from the Chip Zdarsky run. Vandal Savage is the commissioner of Gotham City Police, and he is now sending the police hardcore after Batman. This is a story we've seen before, but there's an energy that's brought to it. Of course, from the incredible dynamic and kinetic artwork from Jorge Jimenez, but also a lot of energy being brought from the story. And I really think that this is one of the better Matt Fraction books I have read since Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, and this one definitely I feel like has more wide appeal. When Jimenez is on a book, he has a decent writer, he's going to soar. He has a writer like Matt Fraction who feels, to me, like he's almost reinvigorated with this project. I'm enjoying it. It's not doing anything ultra new and unique, but it is crafting a fun, interesting Batman comic. So I like it. All right, then we got Absolute Superman here with issue number 13. A solid enough issue of Absolute Superman, but to me, just a little bit bogged down in the weight of what it was doing. First of all, Ra's al Ghul, who is the Absolute Superman main villain here, he runs the Lazarus Corp. He's after Superman. He's got an army of peacemakers, and he is taking over Smallville, trying to get Superman, right? And so this is about the Battle of Smallville. And what this issue tries to do is show us the true scope of this battle and the weight that Superman, Absolute Superman, feels, and also how Lois and Jimmy are now shifting more into their traditional roles, which are truth tellers. Not journalists per se, but truth tellers. They're trying to get the story of this Battle of Smallville out to the public, to a public which doesn't care. Sandoval's artwork is big and boisterous. It just gets a little bogged down with a little bit of verbosity, but that does make sense because a lot of it is through the narration of Lois Lane. I liked it. I thought it was cool. It's not the weakest issue of Absolute Superman, but it's not been the strongest in the last few months, but I am still enjoying it. Then we get Absolute Green Lantern here with issue number 8. A new story starts here. It says, this is written by Al Ewing with artwork by, who is the artist? I don't think they share it till the end. Yes, the art is by Janoy Lindsay. The art's not necessarily my favorite. Hasn't been my favorite throughout Absolute Green Lantern, but it gets the job done, and they're definitely a better artist than I am, right? And the story's been kind of all right. It's got some, I feel like Al Ewing's playing with some interesting concepts, interesting ideas from the Green Lantern lore and mythology, but with a whole new spin and twist, and a new spin and twist on some of the characters. And it's been a little bit up and down for me. I mean, I'm honestly pretty much only reading it because I want to read all the Absolute books, just at least to a point. But this issue I really liked. This one focuses in on Jo, on her past, and in doing so sets up needed information for where the story goes from this point forward, and gives us a little bit more background information, not just on her, her character, and her life, but on this world around her and some of these other characters in the Absolute Green Lantern pages, such as John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Hal Jordan, and even some Chase. You remember Chase? What was the book? For Chase, Cameron Chase from the DEO, she had her own book. Was it called Chase? From the 90s. Oh my goodness, why am I blanking? That book was so cool. From the DEO, Cameron Chase, right? That's her name. Anyway, pretty solid book. Probably one of my favorite issues. Probably my favorite issue of Absolute Green Lantern so far. Then we got JSA here with issue number 13, the first part of Jeff Lemire's JSA Year 1. Gavin Guidry on the artwork. Artwork is solid. I think that this is perfect artwork for a JSA book. I really like it. The book has lost the frantic pace of the first 12 issues, which were basically almost telling the end of the JSA, and in doing so, setting up a new beginning. But instead of going into that new beginning, we're going back to tell the story of how they formed, how they came together. I get that this is issue 13, and by now, they're expecting the readers to know who these characters are and to know who the background of this stuff. But if you're reading this because you're like, you know, I've never read JSA, I want to read JSA Year 1, they kind of take for granted that you already know who these characters are. It's interesting. They got a lot of things they got to pull together to get this to work. I don't know how long this story is supposed to be. Maybe it tells us it should. I don't know. I think with the pace it has right now, it seems like it's set up for like 8 to 10, maybe 12 issues, but we shall see. But I thought it was all right. I thought it was interesting. Honestly, I've been slightly let down by Jeff Lemire on JSA. Not saying it's bad, but I thought it would be a little bit better. It's still good, still solid, but I want a little bit more out of it. Then we got Poison Ivy here with issue number 38. Poison Ivy is one of the absolute best books at DC. Seriously, it is absolutely amazing. G. Willow Wilson on the writing has crafted such an interesting story. When this book first started, I was like, I don't like these stories where you got a villain and you try to have them walk the line between good guy and bad guy, and I just would rather have Poison Ivy be a bad guy. No, I love the nuance, the delicate nuance that's being brought to the character of Pamela Isley here, especially with the character of Janet from HR. Damn it, Janet, I love you. But Janet from HR has actually become a really interesting character. She is dying from this disease that she thinks she's gotten because she's betrayed Pamela. Poison Ivy has found this out. She doesn't know if she wants to kill her or save her or other things to her. You know what I'm saying? But man, there's a lot of emotion in this book, a lot of crazy moments, and some really insanely cool artwork. The artwork has this organic, gritty quality to it that really fits a creepy, eerie tone. This book is not a horror book, but it doesn't shy away from leaning into it when it needs to, especially the horrors of emotional attachment. Anyway, Poison Ivy, issue 38, brilliance. Then we got Batgirl, issue number 13. I've been enjoying this book. I think writer Tate Bromball is doing a great job with the character Cassandra Cain, one of my favorite characters. I like the artwork here, simple and clean, yet action-packed when it needs to. I just feel like the story needs to move forward a little bit more. I think there's a little bit too much sitting back, explaining things, talking about feelings, and there needs to be a little bit more oomph to it. When this book has that oomph factor, it really does work, but as of this issue, started finding myself feeling slightly bored. So this book is kind of on the edge for me right now. From Fantagraphics, we've got Tales of Paranoia, issue number 1, a new one-shot written and illustrated by Robert Crumb. That's right, Crumb is back with a new project, Tales of Paranoia, set up as a tribute of sorts to like old school comics such as EC, right? Tales from the Crypt and things like that, but Tales of Paranoia. It is about Robert Crumb dealing with his paranoia of the government, of government agencies, of people, of scientists, of vaccines, of the COVID pandemic, of everything else. And in the midst of all of it, other crazy stories about paranoia, including the worst LSD trip he ever had. You read that story and it is freaking wild. Everything done by Robert Crumb. If you've never read Crumb's work, you could start here, but depending on where you sit right now on certain issues, you may like it, you may not. I enjoyed this book because I love an artist to artistically express anything that's going on within their mind. And Robert Crumb, to me, is a really solid cartoonist, one of the best in the game. I would recommend tons of his work. Mr. Natural stuff is fun. Frisk the Cat's all right, not quite my jam. But Tales of Paranoia, I really enjoyed. If you see it at your shop, I would recommend you grab it up. Do not be daunted by the incredible verbosity. I know that at times I really get onto comics for being overly verbose, but this is not meant to be an exciting superhero book. This is meant to be something that you sit down and read, and it's even set up. I read this over a couple of days because I got it a little bit early, got to read it over a few days. I loved it. I thought it was great. Robert Crumb, still a master at his craft. Oh, and Fantagraphics does things right. This gets the smell of the week because it smells like paranoia within newsprint. And I love that. All right, from Oni Press, we have Crownsville, issue number 1, an oversized giant comic. It's only $4.99. I like that. It's written by Rodney Barnes, who we've had on the channel before, and artwork by Elia Bonetti. This is really, really solid. So this is a story, I think it takes place in Baltimore, if I remember correctly. There is, Maryland. Maryland's Crownsville, Maryland. Baltimore's in there. Anyway, so it's about this mental institution that was used back in the day. It was mostly used for black people, and they started doing experiments on these black people. I think a lot of this is based on actual fact. And this place is allegedly haunted. It's been decommissioned, about to be torn down. But there is a police detective, there is a journalist about to lose his job, and there is a new guard at this, because there are guards there to make sure people don't jump in there trying to ghost hunt or, do like damage to the property or anything like that. And there are some ghosts, and there's a big secret that this journalist is trying to uncover with the help of this detective. All the stories, all the characters, the way it folds together, the artwork, this ethereal, ghostly, spooky quality to it, and a really solid job Rodney Barnes is doing of shining a light on an unshown spot of history, and I really liked it. I thought it was super solid. If you like spooky ghost stories with a little bit of social significance, definitely check out Crownsville, issue number 1. From Ignition Press, we have No Place, or No Place. Yeah, issue number 1 by Tim Seeley, Stefano Simoni. Artwork is cool. I really like the artwork. The story is solid. The concept is solid. The execution of said story just didn't quite work for me. That happens to me with a lot of Seeley scripts. They don't really always hook me and keep me flowing through the book. But it's an interesting concept. This is about an organization. For instance, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, she gets sucked into Oz. Alice gets sucked into Wonderland. Peter Pan and Wendy and all them get sucked into Neverland. These are places, ethereal places that exist, and then some of these people, they come back to Earth. So this is about a woman who went to one of these fantasy Narnia type lands. She comes back. Nobody believes her except for this organization that now needs her help. It is their job to make sure that these other realities don't leak into their realities. It's a cool concept. It sounds kind of familiar, but I can't place where that sounds familiar from. It was just the execution of the script never really pulled me in, but it was a pretty solid book. Then we've got Circus Maximus issue number 1 from Mad Cave Studios. I didn't like this one very much at all. It is about a heist during Nero's reign in Rome, specifically during the burning of Rome, like to cover up this heist that they're doing. It's interesting enough, but it reeks of cliche. The artwork's a little bit stiff. It's a little bit choppy in its pace, and it just doesn't have a nice reading experience for me. I was kind of bored from the get-go on this one, though I did make it all the way through it, and it's an interesting enough idea. A heist during the time of Nero while Rome is burning. That's interesting, but they didn't pay it off. They really, really didn't. Then we've got Speed Racer issue number 4 from David Pepose and David Tinto. I love this book. Absolutely amazing how this book is able to be action-oriented and character-focused all at the same time without either side feeling lacking or overwhelming. The balance between the characters and the action is stellar in this book. The artwork completely handles all the emotive qualities that are necessary, as well as the dynamic qualities that are necessary. And David does such a great job of taking core concepts of fan-loved, fan-favorite IP and updating them and not losing anything that makes the core of that concept work, but twists it just enough to make it work even better for today's audience. Speed Racer number 4, excellent book. Then we've got Wild Animals issue number 4. This is from Mad Cave Studios, written by Ed Brisson, with artwork by Andy Kuhn, or Kuhn. I think it's Kuhn. This is about a boy who, these police came in, attacked his mother and father, who was also a police officer when he was a kid. He got burned with some cooking oil. His father was murdered. Now his mom has died slowly from cancer, and now he's taking revenge into his own hands, and he's getting in way over his head. This book has the weight and the gravity of the tragedy of what's going on so prevalent, but at the same time keeps a brisk pace, keeps the story moving forward, and never lets its foot off of the gas. Wild Animals issue number 4, the penultimate issue, I believe. Very solid. All right, it's been a long wait, but we have Planet Death here with issue number 2 from Bad Idea Comics. Planet Death has been really impressing me. I'm going to find out who these creators are because, man, I got to give them some shout-outs because I can't remember who it is. All right, where is the title card? Waiting on the title card. First of all, this is a book about a group of soldiers who are cybernetically enhanced going onto this planet to war with this warlike alien race who's trying to kill all the humans. And this book is about a dude. Where are the credits? Well, Oh, Vendetti and Kalstad, Giorello, Zhao. Where are they? Oh, it's at the very, very end. Derek Halstead and Robert Vendetti are the writers. Tomas Giorello is the artist. And Sonny Gao, or Gaho, is the colorist. I love the artwork in this book. It's badass. So now there's like one human survivor, basically, against all of these alien war soldiers. And he's flashing back to his past. There's gnarly beasts, great artwork, brutal violence. It is very reminiscent of what's going on in Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna's Escape right now. But this book isn't trying to be a nuanced take on war or an exploration or a dialogue on that. This book's just trying to be badass. And that's not a bad idea. So I like it. Planet Death issue number 2. Worth the wait, in my opinion. From Dynamite Comics, we have Thundercats Pumaira, issue number 1. This is a one-shot comics. Pumaira is the leader of the Thundercats Lost team. Thundercats Lost has become my favorite Thundercats book going on right now. We'll get to that just shortly. But the leader of that team is Pumaira. We don't know much about her past. Well, read this and you do. It's written by Ed Brisson. It's got solid artwork as well from Alice Leclerc. And you find out her true backstory. It's sad, it's tragic, but it's also kind of charming and hopeful at the same time. I really liked it. If you're plugged into Thundercats Lost, read this. Do not skip. Then we got Thundercats Lost also this week with issue number 8. This book gets better and better. The artwork is insane. Labosco is the artist. Yeah, Rafa Labosco. And Ed Brisson is the writer. I love this book. It's about another team of Thundercats that arrive on Third Earth before the main team of Thundercats do, and they're having to deal with all kinds of things. There's a mystery going on. People are going missing, things like that. Really exciting stuff here in the pages of Thundercats Lost. Then we have Dynamite Blood Red, the latest Dynamite book, which is like zombies. So it's like all the ladies of Dynamite in a zombie apocalypse. My books just fell in a zombie apocalypse. And I've read the first issues of all of these, and that's it. I've never finished one of the series because I just don't really vibe with it. They're a little silly, a little overplayed, doesn't really work for me. So in this one, I guess they're bringing in like Warlord from Mars stuff, so I guess that's cool, but I just wasn't vibing with this book. But if it's your thing, it's your thing. Then we've got DuckTales, a woohoo, issue number 8 from Dynamite and Disney. I'm loving this book. Brandon Montclair is doing a great job of capturing the fun and the energy of Disney Afternoon DuckTales, as well as honoring Duck Comics of yesteryear and today, right? The Carl Barks, Don Rosa energy, but still so much DuckTales. In fact, this one, a big Gizmo Duck featured issue. Gizmo Duck is like my favorite character in DuckTales, so very excited to have it. Thank you so much, team. Really like that. Then we've got Godzilla here with issue number 4. This is Godzilla of the Kaisei era. I've been enjoying immensely what IDW's been doing with their Godzilla books. Lately, the weakest one to me is the flagship title, just Godzilla. It's written by Tim Seeley, so maybe that's when my books fell again. Dynamite. Why are they so slippery? Rolling right off the page. It's not a page, it's a table. Anyway, Godzilla issue number 4. Great cover there from James Stokoe. I like the art inside from says Meshia. Man. But the story just not quite fully working for me. This is about a team of people trying to fight Godzilla. The one is filled with this Kaisei power. There's this other kaiju there. It's got interesting things, but it's not gelling for me. And it's something with the way Seeley writes scripts. It's just not quite working for me. I like it, but it's definitely my least favorite of all the Kaisei era Godzilla books. Then we have Minor Arcana here with issue number 11. Why? See, you did it for me. I didn't even have to do it. Anyway, Minor Arcana here with issue number 11, written and illustrated by Jeff Lemire. This is a story about a woman going back to her hometown. She doesn't want to be there. She's kind of been very regretful and guilty about her life, things like that. Her mom runs a psychic center. There is some kind of something going on in this town. People, like some kind of criminal activity, maybe supernatural or whatever. This woman finds out also now she has unlocked psychic powers that she thought her mom was BSing the whole time. Her mom actually is BSing. Why does she have psychic powers? What's going on? What's the mystery there? I don't know. It's small town mystery interesting stuff from Jeff Lemire. It's exactly what you expect from Jeff Lemire. All right, from Dark Horse Comics, we have Space Scouts issue number 1. This is from Matt Kent and David Rubin. Absolutely beautiful book. The artwork in this book is stellar. Story's pretty solid too. It's about these people that get selected to be a part of this competition. The winner gets to become part of the Space Scouts. They're like the preeminent space force out there protecting everybody. So this is about our main character is being chosen and having to go through these trials. Clever, great artwork. I loved it. Matt Kent knows how to tell a story. David Rubin knows how to illustrate a story. Exercised. I enjoyed it immensely. Very detailed artwork there too. Speaking of detailed artwork, we got Savage Sword of Conan issue number 11. Why? Well, this book is awesome. Why? Because the main story is written and illustrated by Liam Sharp. And Liam Sharp he was not just like phoning this one in, y'all. This is incredibly intricately detailed, rich in texture, amazingly composed, brilliant flow throughout the page. The story is decent too. Conan comes into another land, meets somebody who has his face. This woman shows up. She always got a titty out or something. It's just beautiful artwork. The story is interesting enough, but you can just look at the pages of this for days. The best illustrated story so far, in my opinion, in the Savage Sword of Conan. There's a second story in here by Ron Mars and Danny Earls, and it's all right. It's all right, but after that Liam Sharp brilliance, just didn't quite work. Then we got White House Robot Romance issue number 2 from Distillery. Chip Zdarsky, Rachel Stott, Tamara Bonvillain. I really liked the first issue. It's about a White House in the not-so-near future where the White House is planning to invade Canada, right? Meanwhile, one of the Secret Service robots and one of the chef robots fall in love and escape. They are helped in their escape by a dude who is part of this resistance in Canada to show everybody how evil the U.S. administration is or something like that. First issue was really cool. Second issue, it hits all those beats. It works. It's just not quite as good as the first one, but it was still consistent. It was still solid. It was still a decent enough issue. So there you go. That's what I read. That's what I thought. What time we got? Okay, let's do the ya dig scale. So out of 5 possible ya digs, what do I rate these books? White House Robot Romance gets 3 ya digs. Savage Sword of Conan gets a 4.69. Space Scouts gets a 3.5. Minor Arcana gets a 3. Godzilla gets a 2. DuckTales gets a 3. Dynamite gets a 1.5. Thundercats Lost gets a 3.5. Pumira gets a 3. Planet Death gets a 4. Wild Animals gets a 4. Speed Racer gets a 4.5. Circus Maximus gets a 1. No Place gets a 2. Crownsville gets a 4.5. Tales of Paranoia gets 5 ya digs, perfect score. Batgirl gets a 1.5 from me. Poison Ivy gets a 4.5. JSA gets a 2.5. Absolute Green Lantern gets a 3.5. Absolute Superman, I'll go 3 on that one. Batman, I'm going to go 4. Harley and Ivy, I'll go 4. DC KO Nightfall, I'll go 4.5. Ultimate X-Men will get a 3.5. Amazing Spider-Man will get a 2.5. Moon Knight will get a 3. Long Shots gets a 1. Binary gets a 2. Laura Kinney Sabretooth gets a 2. Amazing X-Men gets a 3. Alien versus Captain America, I'll give that one a 3. Planet She-Hulk, I'll give a 4. Scorched gets a 2. Rook Exodus gets a 4. Void Rivals gets a 3. G.I. Joe gets a 4.5. The Ice Cream Man pack of cards gets 5. And Assorted Crisis Events is your pick of the week. And it also gets 5 ya digs. That's what I read. That's what I think. That's what I'm digging. What are you reading? What are you thinking? What are you digging? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And join us over at patreon.com/PCP if you want to help support the channel. I've been Rockin' Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station. Pop, pop. Boom.